Hi, my name is Riley Allen. This is my review of Chapter 6 of Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief, titled I Become Supreme Lord of the Bathroom. So, Chiron is giving Percy a tour of the camp, and he gets kind of worried about Grover, and tries to assure Chiron that Grover was a good, keeper or whatever. Unfortunately, because, semantics, that Grover came in unconscious, and the whole Percy's mother's death or whatever, he's probably not going to give his search license, what he wants. He's also not going to get, because this is another chance, because this is a second chance. Personally, he shouldn't have needed a second chance, because his first mission was Talia, whatever the hell, Luke and Annabeth. Luke and Annabeth are still kicking around, mind you, so he succeeded with 2 demigods. I mean, yeah. So technically, he already proved himself a good searcher. Or a good keeper, too. So, we get the drop that because of Mr. D's punishment, we got the information last chapter that he was punished by his father for going after a nymph that was off limits. Why was a nymph off limits, Zeus? Anyway. So he can't drink wine, which is just like, damn. The wine god can't even drink wine. He can't even use create grapes, which, that kind of seems a bit like too far to me, but whatever. So they grow strawberries to earn money instead. He gets passed over to Annabeth after being brought to Hermes' cabin. So again, Percy still does not yet understand that he is a demigod. He now knows the gods are real, but he's just like, 12 cabins, and each god is a mascot. Okay, that's cool. I can work with that. And it doesn't help that instead of Luke, who is the son of Hermes and leader of the Hermes cabin, says, "My father Hermes," he says, "our patron." So that doesn't help Percy in the least. And again, Chiron's being the most cryptic person ever, because Percy notices what we later learn is the Oracle move in the attic. So Percy asks about it, and he's like, and Chiron's like, absolutely nothing living is up there. Okay, you couldn't have just said the Oracle's up there, who gives prophecies? I don't think there's anything, taboo about saying that. Considering, probably everybody in camp already knows that. That's where the Oracle is. And then Percy gets itching his ass about, going to the underworld. And Chiron proceeds to say, the underworld is real, but I suggest you put that out of your mind. For now, until we know more. Okay, you didn't need to say that last part. You could have just said, I suggest you put that out of your mind. It is very dangerous. You didn't need to add that until we know more. Because now I need to know more. So Percy sees a little girl at the fire, who we later learn, I think in the 5th book, we're going to learn in the 5th book, is Hestia, the goddess of hearth and home. He notices the pavilion, and he is, open and outdoors, and he questions what they do when they gotta eat, when it rains, and Chiron says, well, we still gotta eat. I'm assuming it's because there's, some type of magic that doesn't allow weather in, but even still, I'm guessing this is less Chiron being cryptic and more just him, kind of having a blank, a blank moment. Whatever. So, in Hermes' cabin, they question if he's regular or undetermined. Regular means he's a Hermes kid. Undetermined means he doesn't know who his parent is. He's undetermined. And poor Percy's like, okay, how long am I going to be undetermined? And everybody's laughing. I'm like, I'm assuming, this is assumption, like, they're laughing because they assume Percy might have saw the orientation video, which has that information in it. Whatever. And then Annabeth proceeds to drag him out of the cabin and starts questioning him, like, I can't believe I thought you were the one or whatever. And, Percy's all confused. And then she's like, do you understand that, how lucky you are to nearly die? And then I think this is Annabeth really showing her age. She says, what do you think we train for? To fight the monsters like the Minotaur. And it's like, no. I'm pretty sure you trained so you could survive a potential fight with the Minotaur. But I think that's Annabeth kind of showing her arrogance and age here. And then I really hate this. I really hate that it fell to Annabeth to explain to Percy, like, that he's a demigod. So we learn that Percy's ADHD is actually for his battle senses, and that his dyslexia is because his mind is hardwired for Greek. I still think Chiron should have been the one to explain this. Like, come on, bro. Centuries old and you still ain't got the, introductory speech down pat? Whatever. So then we meet the camp bully Clarisse, who's the daughter of Ares, and we learn that Percy obviously suffers from foot and mouth syndrome, because upon learning that she's the daughter of the war god, he proceeds to say, oh, that explains the smell. Yep. So he proceeds to tell Annabeth to not help him. Also, Clarisse is the one to give Annabeth the nickname Wise Girl. And I do know that becomes Percy's nickname for her, which I think is funny that he's so unoriginal that he stole a mean nickname for Annabeth. So she drags Percy along. She and her sisters or brothers or whatever drag Percy to the toilets to give him a swirly. And I just love Percy's thoughts. If this camp is run by the gods, they should be able to afford classier toilets. And he proceeds to say, I won't go in there. I won't. And it activates his powers, which, shoot out and flood Annabeth and the Ares kids with, like, shit water, I guess, from the toilets. But luckily, Percy is completely clean. And when Annabeth asks how he did it, he's like, I don't know. And Annabeth proceeds to say, I want you on my team for Capture the Flag. So, another thing. Again, this chapter really does continue Chiron's quest to not tell Percy shit. He tells Percy that the forest is stocked with, it's stocked with, I guess, monsters or whatever. He's just kind of reasoning about all this, like, yes, it's, like, you can't just take, like, 5 minutes to explain, yes, it's stocked with monsters, for training and whatnot. Instead, you'll figure out that and all the weaponry on Capture the Flag, like, damn. Again, are you so busy that you just can't, like, take an hour out of your time to have a sit-down conversation and just explain everything right then and there? Like, I get it from a story-wise standpoint. It'll probably flow better with the information just trickling in. But still, it just really makes Chiron look incompetent, man. Or maybe not incompetent, but it doesn't make him look good. Like, if the whole introductory congratulations you're a demigod speech has to be finished off by a 12-year-old. And what should have been done by you, it's, yeah. This chapter's about the same as the last one. I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. Thanks for watching the video. Leave a like, comment, subscribe if you want, and I'll see you in the next video.